North Asia or Northern Asia is a subregion of Asia, consisting of the Asian portion of Russia the area east of the Ural Mountains. Demographics. Most estimates nowadays are that there are around 38 million of Russians on the east of Ural Mountains divided between Europe and Asia. The indigenous Siberians now are a minority in Siberia North Asia due to Russification process in the last 3 centuries. Russian census records that they make up only an estimated 10% of the region's population, with the Buryats numbering at 445,175, which makes them the largest ethnic minority group in Siberia. There are 443,852 Yakuts living in Siberia. According to the 2002 census, there are 500,000 Tatars in Siberia, but 300,000 of them are Volga Tatars who settled in Siberia during periods of colonization. Other ethnic groups that live in the region and make a significant portion are ethnic Germans, and they number at about 400,000. In 1875, Chambers reported the population of Northern Asia to be 8 million. Between 1801 and 1914, an estimated 7 million settlers moved from European Russia to Siberia, 85% during the quarter century before World War I. Geography. There are no mountain chains in Northern Asia to prevent air currents from the Arctic flowing down over the plains of Siberia and Turkestan. The plateau and plains of Northern Asia comprise the West Siberian lowlands. The Angra Shield, with the Taymyr Peninsula, the coastal lowlands, the Putorana Plateau, the Anabar Plateau, the Tunguska Plateau, and the Angra Plateau. And the Lena-Ural Basin. Geomorphology. The geomorphology of Asia in general is imperfectly known, although the deposits and mountain ranges are well known. To compensate for new seafloor having been created in the Siberian basin, the whole of the Asian plate has pivoted about a point in the New Siberian Islands, causing compression in the Verkhoyansk Mountains, which were formed along the eastern margin of the Angra Shield by tectonic uplift during the Mesozoic era. There is a southern boundary to this across the northern margin of the alpine folds of Iran, Afghanistan, India, Nepal, and Bhutan, which at the east of Brahmaputra turns to run south towards the Bay of Bengal along the line of the Naga Hills and the Arakan Yuma, continues around Indonesia, and follows the edge of the continental shelf along the eastern seaboard of China. The Eurasian Plate and the North American Plate meet across the neck of Alaska, following the line of the Aleutian Trench, rather than meeting at the Bering Straits. Northern Asia is built around the Angra Shield, which lies between the Yenisei River and the Lena River. It developed from fragments of Laurasia, whose rocks were mainly Precambrian crystalline rocks, gneisses, and schists, and Gondwana. These rocks can be found in the Angra Shield, the Inner Mongolian Korean Shield, the Ords Shield and the Southeast Asia Shield. The fragments have been subject to regenesis around their margins, giving a complex of plateau and mountain ranges. One can find outcrops of these rocks in unfolded sections of the shields. Their presence has been confirmed below Mesozoic and later sediments. There are 3 main periods of mountain building in Northern Asia, although it has occurred many times. The outer fold mountains, that are on the margins of the shields and that only affected Asia north of the line of the Himalayas, are attributed to the Caledonian and Hercynian orogenies of the late Paleozoic era. The Alpine orogeny caused extensive folding and faulting of Mesozoic and early Tertiary sediments from the Tethys Joshi incline. The Tibetan and Mongolian Plateau, and the structural basins of Tarim, Kirdum, and Jungar, are delimited by major east-west lithospheric faults that were probably the results of stresses caused by the impact of the Indian Plate against Laurasia. Erosion of the mountains caused by this orogeny has created a large amount of sediment, which has been transported southwards to produce the alluvial plains of India, China, and Cambodia, and which has also been deposited in large amounts in the Tarim and Dzungarian basins. Northern Asia was glaciated in the Pleistocene, but this played a less significant part in the geology of the area compared to the part that it played in North America and Europe. The Scandinavian ice sheet extended to the east of the Urals, covering the northern 2/3 of the Ob Basin and extending onto the Angra Shield between the Yenisei River and the Lena River. There are legacies of mountain glaciation to be found on the East Siberian Mountains, on the mountains of the Kamchatka Peninsula, on the Altai, On Tian Shan, and on other small areas of mountains, icecaps remain on the islands of Severnaya Zemlya and Novaya Zemlya, and several Central Asian mountains still have individual glaciers. North Asia itself is permafrost, ranging in depths from 30 to 600 meters and covering an area of 9.6 million km². Several of the mountainous regions are volcanic, with both the Karayak Mountains and the Kamchatka Peninsula having active volcanoes. The Anada Plateau is formed from igneous rocks. The Mongolian Plateau has an area of basaltic lavas and volcanic cones. The Angra Shield also underlies the lowlands of the Ob River, but to the south and east in the Central Asian Mountains and in the East Siberian Mountains there are folded and faulted mountains of lower Paleozoic rocks. Tojpa, see also. Russia, Russian Far East, Siberia. Siberian High, a semi-permanent anticyclone. References